Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism. No contribution with this video. I just kept kissing him. Idaho mom recalls dog attack that killed her son. Pocatello, Idaho. Heading home from Leo's place on January 21st, Kellen could barely contain the excitement. He couldn't wait to show his stepbrothers the ninja set he'd won at the arcade. To him, the new toy represented more than just one of his favorite things, ninjutsu. It showed that he could finally play video games with the big dogs, as he put it. The 8-year-old never got to share his new toy with his cousins. Instead, the ninja set represented the first sign something was wrong when Kellen's mom, Emily Islis, found it lying on the ground. When Islis and her two children arrived at their Fort Hall home, like so many times before, they had to contend with their extended family's dogs. Of course they do. Of course they do. Dogs Kellen had been playing fetch with that morning, as he had done so many other mornings. Oh, wow. I mean, they've never done anything like that before. My pity, he'll just lick you to death. You don't know when these things are gonna snap. Especially if you have more than one of them, because dogs feed off the alpha. And they play follow the leader. They were there to meet Kellen, his sister, and their mom with licks and tag whales. There it is. Put another chip on Pitidiot bingo. Less than 30 minutes later, those same dogs would claim Kellen's life and leave Islis in the hospital fighting for hers. Islis found Kellen lying on the porch of the main house in front of the RV where her and her children lived. So the kids are living on a property with relatives who own dangerous dogs. And I researched it. 2 of them were mixed, were they called mix, which are pits, and the other 2 were Rottweilers. Guess which ones started the attack? Living in an RV on your relative's property with their dangerous dogs running around. Like, if you aren't seeing these fucking red flags, I don't know what to tell you. While I was holding Kellen, I felt him take his last breath, she said. But I kept thinking, no, stay with me, baby, stay with me, baby, stay with me, baby, fight. Isla spoke with EastIdahoNews.com in her hospital room, where for 2 hours she shared memories of her son, the man he was becoming, the horrific 30 minutes that changed their life forever. Who Kellen was. Kellen Ryan Boner was born on February 5th, 2015. From a young age, he knew what he wanted to do, and he knew how to achieve those aspirations. So now we have different last name than the mother, so there must be like a stepfather situation going on here. Where's the kid's dad? Where's the kid's biological dad? Well, I'm sure mother got custody of him after, and his mother explained that he learned how to ride dirt bikes and a skateboard by watching YouTube videos. When construction crews fixed the water main around their home, he convinced them to build dirt ramps so he could ride the way he wanted. This little boy walked with giants and very much was one himself. His stepfather, Kyle Graves, said of Kellen, he carried a smile that could change the mood in the room. Wait a minute. So Kellen has one last name. The mother has another last name. The stepfather has a third last name. Like, what is going on here? The chaotic lives of people who own or want to be around pit bulls, living in an RV on your family's property. You never hear of a pit bull breaking out of a 10-bedroom mansion and mauling and mauling the neighborhood Pomeranians, do you? Not that rich people aren't fucked up too. They are, but they aren't this type of fucked up. When Graves introduced Kellen to dirt track racing, he watched in awe as an energetic kid took in 30 laps intently. Graves said that after breaking down what the riders were doing, Kellen declared he wanted to be a racer. Before dreaming of spitting dirt off his tires, Kellen focused on being the best brother and friend he could be, reminiscing about the boy who had his heart since their first meeting. Graves said Kellen's moral compass was impeccable. Kellen once defended a classmate from what he believed to be ridicule from a teacher by walking the girl out of the classroom and reading with her on a hallway bench. Another time he dismissed a friendship because he was being a bully. He went home from school that day saddened by the decision, his mother recalled, but he knew it was the right one. He had a great sense of right and wrong and would dig his heels in, Isla said. The impact Kellen felt on his own community of second graders was evident in a letter Islis received and addressed to her son from a classmate. Dear Kellen, I hope you're okay, the letter reads. I was always there for you when we were at school. My heart is broken now that you're not here, but I know you're in a better place and you're not hurting. Please know you're my best friend always and forever. I will be there for the funeral. This is not goodbye. This is until I see you again. Kellen loved his 5-year-old baby sister, Aurora, or Rory as her family calls her. He was excited to become a big brother, Isla said with a smile, and as she recalled him, dressing his 2-year-old self on the morning Rory was born and arriving at the hospital with 2 different colored shoes. Kellen wanted to be a bow hunter, evidenced by a video message Graves received on that faithful day. I love you, Kyle, Kellen said gleefully in the message. One day, I hope I could teach you how to use a bow and arrow. Little did Graves know that would be the last message he would ever receive from his stepson. That fateful day. It was a normal Saturday for us, Islis recorded. She and the kids had a lazy morning. She made breakfast, did a load of laundry, but the kids wanted to go out. The family decided on pizza and games at Leo's place. Upon returning home, the trio was greeted by the dogs. They licked Rory awake from a nap and tried to climb into the car as if it was their turn to go out. Like so many times prior, Islis was worried that the excitement of the dogs would knock one of her kids over with their ferocious tag wails. Really, that's all she was worried about. Put another chip, they'll lick you awake, wagging tail. That's the only thing I was worried about. Their ferocious tag wails would knock her children over. Really. Really. That was the only concern she had pertaining to the dogs they'd known for so long. There was no aggression, she said. Nothing gave me an inkling that in less than 5 minutes my boy would be gone. Do you hear that, Pitidiots? Do you hear that, excuse-making Pitidiots? How your dog is just going to lick you to death. And my dog, you don't know. That thing is a ticking time bomb. Maybe it goes off, maybe it doesn't. She walked her kids to the RV where they lived, about 75 feet from the main house where her aunt lives. Rory was at her side, and Kellen was followed by a step or two behind, clutching his new ninja set to his chest. Islis and her daughter went inside the RV, and Kellen stayed outside. She said she has replayed what happened over the next few minutes over and over again in her head since it all unfolded. While speaking with EastIdahoNews.com, she repeated the same sequence several times, fighting back tears with each repetition. Islis helped Rory remove her snow boots, gave her a TV remote. She grabbed the keys in case she needed to unlock the main house, and she went back outside. She didn't see Kellen and called out for him. When he didn't answer, she figured he'd already gone to the main house, so she headed that way. As she approached the porch, Isla saw the ninja set lying on the ground. She thought it was weird for a new toy to have been dropped, but moved up the porch toward the door. Meanwhile, keep in mind, the RV is only 75 feet from the house. An RV is just a big car. Ever a mischievous prankster, she thought her son was messing with her, especially since the dogs were sitting in a half circle around the boy with their tails wagging. Yeah, proud of what they just done. They just brought their kill to the main house. How do you not hear this going on? 75 feet away, you don't hear 4 dogs mauling your child? Really? You didn't hear it? You didn't hear it because you weren't paying attention. There's a reason why you didn't hear it. I don't think you heard it and she heard it and ignored it. I think this woman is so selfish and so narcissistically self-centered and in her own fucking world, she doesn't hear her kids screaming bloody murder for help while 4 dogs maul them to death 75 feet away while she's in a goddamn RV. I didn't hear it. You notice what they said. They reiterated how she kept saying the same thing over and over and over again. Almost like sounds like it was rehearsed. I said, baby, that's not funny. Then I looked again and I saw blood, Isla said, beginning to cry. She quickly realized the dogs must have somehow been involved in whatever happened to Kellen. Having grown up around dogs and other animals, Isla instinctively knew attempting to remove their prey could cause the dogs to attack her and Kellen. So if you grew up around dogs and you understand dogs, why did you not understand what these dogs were fucking capable of? Dumbass. I feel no sympathy for this woman. None. Because to me, this is another woman who put dick and attention ahead of the needs of her own fucking children. And if that dick and attention means she's got to go fucking live in an RV with 4 dangerous dogs running around her children, then so be it. So she instead decided to cover him. The attack continues. Islis used her left hand to brace herself as she lowered her body towards her son. By the time her left hand hit the porch, the dogs began attacking her. The first bite was to her right upper arm. With the initial bite, the dog tore into her flesh and through her muscle. I felt my artery pop. I heard it pop, she said. I knelt down over the top of Kellen and buried face into his. I covered his head and neck with my face, my shoulders, and my chest. I just kept kissing him and telling him, baby, I love you, I'm here. I just held him and let them go to town on me. I didn't care. She was willing to let the dogs tear her apart before she let them get back to her precious son. She said the dogs did not make any sounds at any point during the experience. There were no growls, only the sounds of the dogs' claws scraping against the porch. Don't buy that. Don't buy it whatsoever. That's how she's getting away with the excuse, I didn't know what was going on. She heard those fucking dogs barking, and she didn't pay attention. She paid attention to the daughter inside, okay, what she was doing, instead of realizing, where's my son? Why are these dogs freaking the fuck out? I don't buy that line one bit. One fucking bit. But then she heard mommy, mommy, mommy from Rory, who come out to see what was happening. Suddenly, Isla had to rethink her situation. She screamed for her daughter to run back to the RV, go inside, and shut the door. The frantic mother remained calm and adjusted the slightest bit to allow the new targets on her body in order to distract them from her baby girl as she navigated the 25 yards or so back to the RV. Once Islis heard the sound of the RV slamming shut and knew Rory was safe, she turned her full attention back to protecting her son. She did what she thought she had to do, said Graves, who was in California at the time of the attack. She knew she was going to get hurt. She knew she could lose her life, that she was okay with that. The aftermath. Eventually, the dogs grew bored and stopped their attack. Islis used what little strength she had to sit up and pull Kellen to her chest. Fighting extreme pain, she attempted to open her blood-soaked phone without the use of her right arm, which hung limp at her side. One of the dogs made one more attempt to reclaim Kellen, and bit Islis on the back of the head. Islis mustered all the strength to reach for a frozen water bucket and swing it as hard as she could, nailing the dog in the head. As the dog ran away, Islis went back to holding her son and recalls him taking his final breath. Finally, she was able to get her phone to redial the last number she had called. It was a friend, and she explained she and Kellen had been attacked. Her friends rushed to the house and pulled Kellen from Islis' lap. She fell to the porch and immediately called Graves. She explained what happened, but then the call dropped. While one friend performed CPR on her son, Islis asked the other to FaceTime Graves so she could say goodbye. Has anybody called a fucking ambulance? Has anybody called an ambulance? The cops, EMS, anybody? I thought I was dreaming, he said. I saw her bleeding. I saw her fading. I thought for a second there that I was saying goodbye to my son and that I was going to lose the love of my life. But she fought every inch. Seeing his beloved covered in blood, barely able to maintain consciousness, Graves said he had never before felt so helpless. When Islis again collapsed, the call was once again disconnected, leaving Graves to his terrifying imagination. All the while, Islis lay in the snow, listening to her friends attempt to revive her son as blood pooled in the snow around her. So the friends show up. Nobody calls the EMS. Nobody calls the cops. Nobody calls for help. Pitidiot make real bad fucking decisions. Real bad fucking decisions. And you show where the fucking stepfather's head is at. You know, the kid's already dead. Oh, I don't want to lose my beloved hot wife. Injuries and recovery. Islis knew she was in grave shape by the look she received from the EMTs when the ambulance arrived. She was unsure she would survive the trip to the hospital. When Fort Hall police officers saw the injuries suffered by both Islis and Kellen, they immediately killed all 4 dogs. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God somebody with a brain. Cops with a brain for once. Thank God. It must have been horrific for them to just turn around and say, no, fuck this. These things got to die. All 4 of them got to die right now. No Captain Karens from Animal Control. None of that shit. None of that shit. 4 bullets, real nice. Makes me so goddamn angry. Islis was transported to Portneuf Medical Center and prepped for life-saving surgeries. My right arm had zero function. I had no pulse. I had no blood flow. It was more or less barely attached, she said. They warned me for taking me in the surgery they might have to amputate my arm. It wasn't until after the surgeries, when nurses were cleaning Islis, that they found a large wound on the back of her head from a dog bite. Along with the head wound, Islis suffered significant injuries to her back and sides, but the major damage was done to her arms, particularly her right arm. The attack severed and removed a chunk of her brachial artery, which carries blood from the heart and fingers and back. It took 2 attempts, but doctors were able to replace a chunk of the artery with portions of veins. Her body has learned how to use the minimal tract to carry blood to her hand, but the return trip thus far has not been quite as successful. Even with the positives, Islis is able to move her fingers. The extent of use, feeling, and functionality of her right arm and hand are a waiting game. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? They should have just cut the fucking thing off. Honestly. Because that's what she deserves. Because I don't believe her. I don't believe her. I have a long road ahead of me. I have a lot of occupational therapy. Even with that, we don't know, she said. What made her recovery from surgery even more difficult was hearing her son had been declared dead moments before she was knocked out. She was still screaming for him when I felt the drugs hit my veins, she said. Physically, the wounds will heal. Mentally, my son took his last breath in my arms. Right now, I'm terrified to let my daughter out of my sight. Both Graves and Islis say they have felt Kellen's presence since. Graves says after he landed in Boise, he was headed to a rental car for the drive to Pocatello. He felt what he could only describe as a little hand grabbing his. He learned Kellen had been pronounced dead after driving. Really, Kellen came to the stepfather. Where is his bio? Maybe his biological's a piece of shit. Maybe I don't know. But Kellen doesn't even have the same last name as this dude. Or his mother. What does that tell you? Islis felt the familiar feeling of a small body nestling into her as she lay in her recovery bed. The energy she felt slid in between her arms and head as if it was attempting to snuggle. That, she added, was something Kellen had done since he was a small child. Islis was due to be discharged from the hospital Thursday. A celebration for Kellen is scheduled for Friday at Cornerstone Funeral Home in Pocatello. Visitation and with a ceremony to follow. Graves plans on making Kellen's last name through something that quickly became a passion of his. He intends on launching a racing team. So he's going to make his last name into a racing team? One thing I've promised myself is I will build a team, he said. I will wrap the cars as his favorite things, Power Rangers, Ninja, Thor, and do a rent-a-ride thing. I'll pay for everything. I want to race. Come with me. Take home everything. You win. Kellen would have loved that. A family also wants Kellen's loss to serve others. I never want any other mother to lay here in a hospital bed like this, Islis said. I never want a father to get that call. I want to create some sort of legacy. She and Graves plan to push for legislation that will create a system of checks and balances for aggressive dogs. Oh, here we go. Checks and balances? No. How about no aggressive dogs, period? How about no aggressive dog? Your dog acts aggressively, it's gone. Because you can't. It doesn't have to be every dog. Just pit bulls. You can make it to, you know what the breeds are. Pit bulls, Akitas, bull mastiffs. Okay? Those three. Any act of aggression out of them, bye. 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 She is adamant that the rules do not apply to only certain breeds. Do not apply only to certain breeds, but to any dog. No, 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 Pitidiot. No, it's one breed that does this. It's one breed with two others in tow. Okay? It's one breed. It's one breed that does this. Dummy. Dummy. Loses her child, but still doesn't want to piss off the Pitidiots too much. The family saw the ordinance issued by the Fort Hall Business Council informing pet owners that at-large dogs would be killed. As a dog lover, they said Kellen would have hated that law. Kellen's dead. He's a child. That's why he's a kid. That's why kids aren't allowed to make adult fucking decisions, you dumbass. And he's dead because of these dogs. So the town's like, no, fuck that. We're going to kill any of these at-large dogs. Dead. Good. 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 Now she's going to use her dead kid to say he would have hated that. Well, he's a kid. He's a child. He's 8. What is he, 8, 9? God. Instead, they will impose a 3-strike policy. Why? Why would her, of all people, want to impose a 3-strike policy when they say there was no sign of aggression from these dogs whatsoever? Their only fear was their ferocious tail wagging, and they'd lick you to death. Okay? The 3-strike policy wouldn't have helped her son here, unless she's lying. Unless that means she's lying about the history of the dogs. Which do you think it is? She's lying about the history of the dogs, or she's just the biggest fucking idiot, because a 3-strike policy would have done nothing to keep her son alive if you take her story at face value. Would it? Would it? Fucking crazy. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. She should be charged. She should be charged too. Three strike. The first act of an aggression from a dog will result in an in-home quarantine where the dog is not allowed out of the owner's property. The owner's the fucking problem. You're giving the dangerous dog back to the person that's compounding the fucking problem in the first place. The second act of aggression will constitute an off-site quarantine and citation. The dog will be taken by Animal Services for 10 days, and the owner will be given a ticket and a misdemeanor charge. For what? What is Animal Services going to do for 10 days? They're going to try to retrain it at whose cost? Who's paying for this? So you could be a fucking idiot after the second time your dog does something fucked up, and then you get it back after 10 days, after the government is paying to, who's paying for this dog shelter fees? And you're going to give it back to the same owner who has now demonstrated twice they can't fucking handle this dog. If the dog or dogs continue to be aggressive, they believe the dog should be put down and the owner should be issued a felony citation. The reason this would have made a difference for Kellen is at least one of the dogs was reportedly involved in situations where it cornered children in Fort Hall, and the family later heard it killed a neighbor's calf. This article opened up by saying these dogs showed no sign of aggression ever. Ever. Oh, well, yeah, then it's like with every fucking Pitidiot, when something goes down and you start asking follow-up questions like, oh, well, there was that time, those kids, and it wasn't the kid, it wasn't the dog's fault. The kid was scared, and then they never saw a calf before, didn't know what it was. The dog was scared and attacked out of fear. Okay, this is when you get to it. Because they can find no other reason, the family believes one of the dogs attacked Kellen because the others joined in. Of course, because dogs act, like I said, in a pack fucking mentality. A pack mentality. All it takes is one of the aggressors and the others will follow. Had there been something like this new law, something like this law in Idaho that was actually followed up on, I might not be sitting here and my son might be alive, Isla said. That's where I want to be changed. Hey, how about your idiot fucking family members that are keeping dangerous dogs on their property? Now you want to take it all out of their fucking hand, out of their responsibility, and make it the responsibility of the state. Well, if it's going to be the responsibility of the state, which I have no problem with the state taking over laws on pit bulls, it's one strike. It's a one strike done policy. That's it. The state doesn't have time to fuck around with your fucking Pitidiot emotions and to decipher and get through all your Pitidiot rationalization and Pitidiot lies. Because this article goes from, I didn't know anything, the only thing I was worried about these dogs was their ferocious tail wagging, to it's cornering children and killed a calf. Had there been something like this law in Idaho that was actually followed up on, I might not be sitting there. My son might be alive. That's where I want to be a change. Not with your family. Not with your family. Not any of that. Not that you're living in a fucking RV, okay, with 4 dangerous dogs on family property, okay? Not in your life decisions, right? This all has to come down to the state. And it probably does, because you Pitiyots are insufferable. You Pitiyots will make excuse after excuse after excuse, and then you'll lie about it when something goes down. So you're right, the state does need to be involved, but it ain't no 3-strike policy. It's a 1-strike policy, and gone, done, forever. And once you've owned a dangerous dog, you're never allowed to own another one again. You're never allowed to own another one of those breeds ever again. Ever. A GoFundMe was launched by Samantha Linnae, a close friend of the family, whom they have praised for her steadfast support throughout this ordeal, has raised over $35,000 since the attack. Isla said they will never be able to fully express their gratitude for all the donors. You guys have humbled me, she said, beginning to cry. I never thought in a million years my son and I mattered enough to anyone other than my family. Islis expects to be discharged from PMC Thursday. With all the recovery on her horizon, her immediate focus will be continuing to be a mother to Rory. Through the tears and pain, Islis reflected on the man her son would one day become, and knows his life was not in vain. He wanted to swim with the sharks, she said. He wanted to climb mountains. He wanted to skydive. He wanted to travel this world and meet everybody in this world. Saturday, hours before he died, Kellen asked his mother what she would do with $1 million. When Islis responded she didn't know what she would do, she responded, I would feed the homeless. He responded, I would feed the homeless. That was just who he was. Oh, it's almost up to $42,000 now. $42,000 for getting your son killed. I have zero sympathy for this woman. She is directly responsible. I think she should be charged. Okay? The Pitidiot excuses are all over this article. The article contradicts itself. Okay? Right here. When Islis and her two children arrived home, like so many times before, they had to contend with their extended family's dogs. Dogs Keelan had been playing fetch with that morning, had done so many other mornings. They were there to greet Kellen, their sister, their mom, with licks and tag wails. Horrific. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. The only thing they were worried about was wagging tails. That's the Pitidiot for you. Okay? And the Pitidiot puts themselves before their children. And all this article was a way for the mother to cover her ass for her shitty life decisions. Period. So, let me know what you think in the comments section below. And thank you to everybody for watching. And if you want to have your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care, everybody.